For today's headlines, lockdowns end in March. Airlines benefiting from eased restrictions. Resumption of face-to-face classes backed. Gummy candies with cannabis intercepted. Metro steps up anti-drug drive. Don't let guard down, businesses told. Stealth Omicron more contagious. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Today is February 2, 2022 and here are the latest news of this Wednesday morning. A proposal to scrap the Philippines' COVID-19 alert level system by the second quarter of the year gained support from some officials despite the persisting threat of Omicron and its subvariant. While the suggestion remains up for discussion, authorities are urging residents of virus epicenter Metro Manila to continue adhering to protocols against COVID-19 as the region shifted to alert level 2 on Tuesday. 3 senators have agreed to the proposal of Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion, who said on Monday that the government should discard the existing lockdown system as early as March or April. Our economy has taken a beating from the lockdowns and imposed alert levels over the past 2 years. It is time to give it the needed break to recover, Senator Panfilo Lacson said in a radio interview. The longtime senator also said the Philippines should consider looking into the strategies of European countries which currently treat the COVID-19 pandemic as endemic, adding that the government should craft responsive policies based on data and science. We should act faster than what we used to do in our data gathering with due consideration to science which can be provided by our health experts in consultation with their foreign counterparts, he said. As always, in situations like this, the key is a sense of urgency. Senator Sonny Angara also gave his nod to the suggestion, noting that the state's pandemic response should be attuned to the changing effects of the virus's various strains. He told reporters in a message that other countries have been doing this, and it will help the marginalized to recover from the ill effects of the pandemic. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian also agreed with Concepcion and said it is vital for Filipinos to learn to live with the virus for the country to go back to normal. He said, however, it will only be possible if the government will continue to push for vaccination and strengthen efforts to give booster shots. The lawmaker said that vaccines are effective too as it prevents hospitals from being overwhelmed due to Omicron surge, and we have learned from this Omicron surge. He added that in order to boost the Philippine economy and lower unemployment, people need to gradually go back to normal lives by learning to live with the virus. Concepcion had said the Philippines may be downgraded to Alert Level 1 towards the end of February and March, and that the government may forego the entire alert level system afterward. He pointed out that the Philippines has vaccinated at least 54 million people, which was said to be the reason why the majority of the country's COVID-19 cases are considered mild. Some groups, however, cautioned against the idea. For health reform advocate Anthony Leachon, who used to be an advisor of the National Pandemic Task Force, the country's COVID-19 alert level system serves as a basis of measures against the pandemic. Leachon said that it should not take Concepcion's suggestion, as the Philippines cannot manage what it doesn't measure. Senator Nancy Binay also said eliminating the alert level system is like letting everyone walk through a dark tunnel without guiding lights. She also warned that it might be too early for the government to get rid of the restrictions since almost half of the country's populace has yet to be vaccinated, and lifting restrictions might worsen the current situation. Benhur Abalos, the chairperson of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, reminded Metro Manila residents to remain compliant with health protocols as the National Capital Region reverted to a more lenient Alert Level 2. Abalos said authorities were ready to enforce anti-COVID measures among the throngs of people who would rush to public areas like malls. Metro Manila's de-escalation from Alert Level 3 to Alert Level 2 meant that minors and senior citizens were allowed inside restaurants, playgrounds, malls, amusement parks, among other establishments. The region's shift to less restrictive alert level also paved the way for the suspension of the controversial no vax, no ride policy. The year 2022 is shaping up to be a better year for the travel and aviation industries, especially as the government eased quarantine protocols for both local and international travelers. Low-cost airline AirAsia Philippines recouped 42% of its pre-COVID flight frequency this month, despite the spike in virus cases due to the new Omicron variant. AirAsia Philippines spokesperson Steve Dailisan said Tuesday the air carrier is cautiously restoring its pre-pandemic flight frequency this year. Dailisan said that they will continue to serve their guests this 2022 with safe and timely flights. In spite of challenges posed by emerging variants and new protocols, the operations are at an optimum, allowing them to avoid flight disruptions. Although it did not disclose full details of this month's data, AirAsia Philippines said it recorded a 182% climb in capacity for January 2022 against the same month a year ago. Seats sold for the month also increased by 200% as compared to the same month in the previous year. Moreover, the load factor has increased by 10%, and Caticlan, Cebu, and Tacloban still dominated the top destinations for both leisure and essential travel. AirAsia Philippines has started to gradually increase its domestic flights slated for February for Davao, Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, Bacolod, Puerto Princesa, Panglao, and Calibo in preparation for a possible influx of travelers. To date, AirAsia Philippines is running on-time performance of 80%. This means it meets its scheduled departure and arrival in most, if not all, of its destinations except for situations and incidents beyond the control of the airline. The firm is also mounting hybrid and sweeper flights were mounted in partnership with the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration to service returning overseas Filipino workers who needed to return to the provinces. Since mid-January, AirAsia Philippines was able to bring home 2,500 returning Filipinos to their families for the much-anticipated reunions. Meanwhile, Gokongwei-led Cebu Pacific announced Monday night the passengers may now travel for leisure following the de-escalation of the status of the National Capital Region to Alert Level 2. Under Alert Level 2, intrazonal and interzonal travel are allowed subject to travel requirements set by the local government unit of the destination. Candies Iyog, Vice President for Marketing and Customer Experience, said that they will welcome this positive development as they believe this easing of restrictions enables the travel and tourism sector to recover sooner than later. Safety continues to be their topmost priority, and they remain committed to ensuring everyone travels with peace of mind and health. Passengers, regardless of vaccination status, may travel if they fully comply with the travel requirements of the LGU of their destination. Minors and senior citizens are also allowed to travel, even for leisure. The next target of Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion is to enjoin the ruling Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases to allow face-to-face classes backed by Vice President and Presidential Aspirant Leni Robredo as part of the country's pandemic exit plan. According to Concepcion, his proposal was supported by Leni, saying that in a text message sent to him by the Vice President, expressing his support to Concepcion's shift of mindset in dealing with the pandemic, noting that the schools should be open soon to fully vaccinated children and teachers. Concepcion said that now that the country is vaccinating 12 to 17 and 5 to 11, they will push the Interagency Task Force to open the schools, provided that both students and teachers are already fully vaccinated. The suggestion came after Concepcion's successful pushing for the lifting of quarantine requirements for fully vaccinated returning overseas Filipinos and soon to tourists. The palace advisor also noted that bringing back students to school should be prioritized, provided that they are vaccinated and belong to households with a 100% vaccination rate or no unvaccinated senior citizens in the house. He also dispelled uncertainties about students and teachers being infected, saying the mask mandate should be strictly implemented to lessen the chance of acquiring COVID-19. Also, the country cannot afford a long-term effect of less than ideal quality of education due to the online learning modality being implemented by the Education Department, he said. Earlier, Lenny vowed to create a national system and policies for face-to-face learning amid the pandemic and has called for the reopening of schools with proper and safe health protocols so that students will not be left behind amid the contagious threat. Further, Lenny disclosed that she would support teachers and school heads in creating communities of practice to provide local strategies for the safe and sustainable learning of children. On the other hand, Concepcion said the proposal is like hitting two birds with one stone, as it would help boost the vaccination rate among senior citizens. He stressed that students eager to go back to school will force their grandparents to get vaccinated, and in this way it would be easier for the government to have our senior citizens vaccinated. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Si Harry Roque ang pinakamagaling na spokesman, kaya inggit sa kanya ang oposisyon.
Tama lang na ipinaglaban ko ang balik trabaho para bumalik ang kita ng mga nagtatrabaho at naghahanap buhay. Hindi pwedeng magutom ang pamilya. Dapat lang po ingat buhay para sa hanap buhay. Basta trabaho, kita at hanap buhay ang nakataya. Nasa harap niyo po ako.
Ibigay natin ang tudong suporta kay Harry.
Fun and inspiring na kwentuhan? Sagot na yan ang programang Spotlight ng Daily Tribune. Makipagkwentuhan at kilalanin ng iba't ibang personalidad na kilala sa kani-kanilang larangan. Manood at makinig sa mga inspiring stories na kanilang ibabahagi kasama si Nina Ventura at Jojo Silvestre. Be ready ng mamangha at matuwa every Thursday alas 2 ng hapon dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama si Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkulusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng yan mapapanood tuwing alas 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
We are back on Tribune News on Q. The Bureau of Customs reported that operatives for the Ninoy Aquino International Airport and Interagency Drug Interdiction Task Group have arrested the claimant of a package containing gummy candies infused with cannabis and the THC vape cartridges at the Central Mail Exchange Center in Pasay City. BOC NAIA identified the arrested claimant as Elvira Vicente, who presented an authorization letter from the consignee while claiming the said package on Monday afternoon at the CMEC. The BOC NAIA said the intercepted package was declared as personal gifts and clothing, and it was shipped from Canada and consigned to a certain Vincent Castillo. The BOC NAIA added that the illegal goods were discovered during physical examination at the CMEC window witnessed by the arrested claimant, BOC NAIA, and Philpost representatives. Inside the EMS package, along with chocolates and the clothing, they found out that the undeclared 20 pouches gummy candies infused with cannabis and 49 THC vape cartridges with an estimated value of 85,299.12 pesos. The port added that the initial field test conducted by the Customs Anti-Illegal Drug Task Force showed that the gummy candies and the vape cartridges contain cannabinoid, a chemical compound found in cannabis, also known as marijuana. Thereafter, samples from the seized gummy candies and vape cartridges were immediately submitted to Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Chemical Laboratory for further test, and it also resulted positive for cannabinoid. PDEA reminded the public that cannabis, THC, or any derivatives in any form containing said substance are classified as a dangerous drug under Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, and the unauthorized importation, sale, possession, cultivation, and use thereof remain punishable under the law. The arrested claimant and seized illegal goods were turned over to the PDEA for the institution of inquest proceedings for violation of the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act in retaliation to Section 118 and Section 1401 of the Republic Act 10863, otherwise known as the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act. The BOC NAIA said that the port will remain vigilant against the entry of prohibited drugs and other illegal contraband in all airports and seaports nationwide. Following its aim of curbing, if not totally eradicating, the proliferation of illegal drugs in Metro Manila, the National Capital Region Police Office conducted 13,993 operations metro-wide, where 24,684 illegal drug personalities were arrested. These operations resulted in the seizure of around 863,911.24 grams of shabu worth 5,874,596,499.14 pesos, 585,796.78 grams of marijuana worth around 70,295,614 pesos, and 15,923 grams of ecstasy worth around 27,069,100 pesos, and 286.13 grams of cocaine worth around 1,516,489 pesos. In total, the amount of various illegal drugs seized was 5,973,567,652.13 pesos. NCRPO Chief Police Major General Vicente Danao Jr. emphasized the importance of the said campaign in order to maintain the peace and order in the Metro Manila and recognize the efforts of his men towards the attainment of their anti-illegal drug campaign. The data presented by NCRPO's accomplishments on anti-illegal drugs were from November 10, 2020 to January 30, 2022, following the assumption to office of Danao Jr. As Metro Manila shifted to a more relaxed Alert Level 2 on Tuesday, the Quezon City government reminded business establishments not to let their guard down when it comes to enforcing minimum health protocols. According to its latest guidelines, the implementation of disciplinary hours for minors under Ordinance SP 2301/2014, prohibiting them from loitering in public places from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. was retained. The holding of gatherings for no specific purpose and gatherings in residences with individuals not belonging to the same household are also not allowed. When it comes to partially vaccinated adults, they are now allowed to engage in outdoor activities, use public transportation, and enter indoor establishments to obtain essential goods and services. Meanwhile, those fully vaccinated adults and minors, regardless of vaccination status, may enter establishments for essential or non-essential reasons, such as dining, shopping, and watching movies. Restaurants and other food establishments, as well as personal services establishments like salons and barbershops, may provide services at up to 70% capacity indoors for fully vaccinated adults and minors regardless of vaccination status. They can also accommodate up to 90% capacity outdoors regardless of age or vaccination status. Employees of these establishments must be fully vaccinated. Religious gatherings are allowed for fully vaccinated adults and for minors regardless of their vaccination status for up to 70% capacity indoors and 90% capacity outdoors for all persons regardless of their age or vaccination status. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Ang Daily Tribune may digital shows na din. Dahil sa mas lumalaki at mas lumalakas nating tribu, handog sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang mga programang magbibigay buhay araw-araw. Be informed at mag-good vibes tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Be updated sa news and happenings sa Tribune News on Q. Mas kilalanin pa natin ang mga paborito nyong atleta sa programang The Athletes Tribune. Alamin ang latest entertainment sa programang What's Up. Ma-inspire sa mga kwentong hatid ng Perfect. Search lang ang Daily Tribune sa inyong Facebook at Tribune Now on YouTube. See you there, mga katribu!
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
T. A subvariant for the highly contagious Omicron coronavirus strain is even more infectious than the original version, according to a Danish study published on Monday. Subvariant BA.2, also called Stealth Omicron, was detected earlier this year and has displaced the first Omicron variant, known as BA.1, as the dominant strain in Denmark. A person infected with BA.2 has a 39% chance of transmitting the virus to someone else in their household within a week, compared to a 29% risk with BA.1, Denmark's SSI Health Authority said in a statement. The study by SSI researchers and Danish universities involved 18,000 people and was carried out between December 20 and January 18. SSI Dr. Camilla Holten-Moller said BA.2 was more likely to infect unvaccinated people than BA.1. Those who have been fully jabbed, particularly those who have received a booster dose, are much less likely to catch a strain, she added. The SSI had previously said BA.2 was 1.5 times more infectious than BA.1, according to preliminary data. That wraps for the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the following: the SM Store, Araneta City, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its vibrant community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarcito are available on our community Viber.